I wonder how they're gonna feel when they see Jiraiya, dude. Here comes the angel. It was so weird.
人からさらに成長したんだ。なんだと。そう、人から神へとな。
Thinks he's above man. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. We are getting into Shippuden today, episodes 129 and 130. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm getting into my week here. It's freaking Monday, but I had a fun weekend. I went out and did some PC upgrades. I've been talking about that for a while. Finally got it done. Did the build, and it's all. I mean, I'm recording on it right now, but it's not like completely set up. I'll show you all some videos of it or something, or some pictures once I have, like, you know, the actual side panels on and everything. But at least it's working. Had one little not one little hiccup, couple hiccups, but nothing too major, so thank God for that. If any of y'all have built PCs, you know how scary it is when you're trying to turn it on for the first time. It sometimes doesn't boot, sometimes it doesn't power on at all. Sometimes it doesn't even boot into the BIOS. Mine didn't boot into the BIOS, and I had to like fix the RAM and shit like that. So anyways, let's get back to some Shippuden. We'll recap the character names from last time. We gave MVP to Jiraiya. Just his really interesting backstory. Taking his destiny really seriously. You know, it's kind of funny. I was, you know, watching those episodes with Bethany, my girlfriend, and she thought about how, like, you know, the Jiraiya we have come to know, like, back from like classic Naruto, very like immature or like, you know, seemingly immature on the surface, right? Like, he's always kind of pervy and making jokes. Doesn't seem like he's taking things too seriously a lot. Like, you know, he acts like a child sometimes. But you see this backstory and just how much resolve and discipline he had with you know, how serious he took his destiny, or his the prophecy that was given to him. You know, that's, I don't know, like, it took a lot of maturity for him to do that, to go take that and like live his life around that without questioning it too much, you know. I just thought that was like a pretty interesting thought there that I didn't really think about too much when I did the review section last time. For the best moment, we gave that to Minato and the reveal of Naruto's name from the Tales of a Gutsy Ninja. I love that is like a connection there. It's just, I don't know, it's like really cute, heartwarming payoff there. Yeah, and for the funniest moment, we give that to Elder Toe when he says, "You who are solely pervy." Yeah, pretty accurate. And then for the Sacco, we gave that to Orochimaru, the backstory, when he's like, "Should I just kill these children? They're pitiful." You know, Orochimaru being Orochimaru, of course. But yeah, y'all, really good episodes. You know, I had some theories last time around those 3 kids and whatnot. I don't know if we're going to get more backstory here, or if that was kind of the end of it and we're going to get back into where we left off, but I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. I feel the times are changing. Times are coming up here. So we'll see. All right, guys, let's go and get into it. Oh, gosh. Back to current day. Present day. Oh, Lord. Ooh, dude. You could tell already? You're in the way already. It's interesting, like, in pain, like, he said my rain too. Does he like control it? I mean, I know we were talking about that the past couple episodes, but he might actually. He's the Naruto food reviewer.
いやここら辺りは随分と平和だの
だ、この里に戦がなくなったのは
Lord Pain.
ありがたやありがたや。
ペイン
そうじゃ、ペイン様じゃ。
三将軍の半蔵はどうしたんじゃ
あ
Hanzo, yeah. That was the one who gave them the Seinen title.
ばあさん邪魔したの
Dude, this village is it's filled with a bunch of sus boys.
あれは一体何なんだ
ああ、あれは天使様ですよ。
Bro, get down.
今天使様の折り紙を店先に飾るとご利益があるって噂なんです。
天使のどういうことだこの国は二分どころかすでに統一されとる雨隠れの里には三将軍の半蔵という長がいたはずここは焦らずじっくりと探りを入れんといかんの
Yeah, was it? Oh no.
激しい戦いになりそうじゃの
Yeah, was it Jiraiya himself who said that the rain village was split into two? Like when he was reporting?
わしは嘘はつけんたちでの全部本当のことじゃ
Oh my gosh.
血のこの戦は
The fucking cow, dude.
私は指名すっとは見どころあるばい。あら、なんね、お客さんコンサートの人じゃなかったね。
ああまあわしのような傭兵に働き口があると聞いてきたんじゃ
Dude, you can't use a different identity for each place.
この半蔵が
ここでその話はしちゃいかんよ。
どうしてじゃ
あんたも半蔵の仲間と思わると殺さるばい。
それはまた物騒じゃの
This sounds like Pain probably took over.
はとっても厳しい人やけん、万一睨まれたら手加減せんって旦那が言いよらした。
なんじゃ手綱ちゃんは亭主持ちなんか
そぎゃんって旦那は里の下人しとっとばって稼ぎが少なかけん、私もこ
You're gonna come up, you gotta be in my arms, buddy.
そりゃ大変じゃの
旦那の話じゃ、コンサートの雨は今じゃペイン様の術で降らせよ。
Okay.
雨に打たると誰が難波しよっとか立ちどころにわか
Dude, that's messed up.
そりゃまた恐ろしい
Yeah, for real, dude.
けん、変なコツは言わん方がよかよ。
手綱ちゃん
ちょっとごめんね。
Oh, you wanna get up? You go down.
ペインの術中というわけか
Yeah, at least Jiraiya recognizes that.
なんだ今からお土産持って帰るよ。どうせしぶき橋のお土産でん買ってくっとばい。
所在ない手紙じゃ
That fucking beard. It's cute.
ほな俺が雨をあげたらお前の術で侵入者を探す
任せて。
Mm-hmm.
行くぞ
Oh man, Conan. That was the name of the girl, right? It's been a few days since I've recorded. I need to remind myself.
再活そうで店なんかありゃしねえよ上に行くしかねえな
じゃあ雨宿りしに上に行くかでもいいのかまっすぐ帰るって連絡したんじゃない
いいってことよ緊急任務だ
飲むのが任務なんて聞いたことねえぜ
Sometimes you got a mission to drink, man. Blood frog.
ついてるな俺たち
There's no way that.
いらっしゃいませ
Oh my fucking god.
人なつまみをくれ今日は日曜じゃないよな
店員様に何かあったってことだこれから他国へ出かけるのかもしれないな
でも他の曜日に降ったことなんて今までなかったぜ
それだけ力を使うご用事な
Always on Sunday?
でもこう振られちゃ
おい口を慎め店員様はこの町の者たちのために身を削っておられる少しは我慢しろ
そりゃそうだけど
はいお待たせしました
うんおい
何も用意できてねえじゃねえか
いえいえお客様方ものすごく
Looks so weird.
開店記念サービスがありましてですね
何本当か
どんなサービスなんだ
クラブフロッグ特製拷問サービスでございます
お前一体何者だ
質問するのはこちらだいろいろ聞かせてもらうぞ
今だ逃げろ
Hey, you ain't going nowhere. Oh, it's that frog shit.
観念するんじゃな
Oh Jeez, man. That's crazy. You can control the weather. That literally must be really exhausting jutsu.
ほな。
あ
I wonder how they're gonna feel when they see Jiraiya, dude. And we know for a fact that Conan was the girl. I looked it up by my notes. Conan was the little girl.
パでも区内を振り回していたところを見ると一応忍びだな。その抜け人の印はペインへの忠誠の証か。
くそ、どこだここは。
カエルの腹の中だ。まあ絶対にここは見つからんの。
前、何者だ。
質問するのはわしの方だと言ったはずだの。違うか。
その羽で何をする気だ。
He's gonna tickle them, isn't he? Yeah.
大事にしたくなければわしの質問に全て答えてもらう。お前たちの長ペインについてな。はけ、ペインについて
Laughing, tickle torture is legit, man.
俺は何があっても仲間は
お前に我慢強いな。こうなれば奥の手だの。
何をする気だ。
どうあっても儚いのならわしの術でお前たちをカエルに変える。
Be a good time to have some genjutsu.
カエルに。
What? Did that just go right over my head?
俺たちは下っ端でもここの忍びだ。絶対に仲間は裏切らない。
They got some, yeah, they seem pretty loyal, man.
なら仕方ないの。
Sounds like some Leaf Village ninjas here.
カエルの術。やめろ。さて次はお前だ。覚悟は。
西の一番高い塔にペイン様
Ah!
と言われている。
あれれ、随分と簡単に裏切り
He
ました。
sure did. Never mind. He's not like the Leaf Village ninjas.
言われてるってのはどういうことだ。
実はペイン様のことを詳しく知る者はどこにもいないんだ。
どういうことだ。
風魔一族の血を引くと言われているが、誰も彼の顔をよく知らないし、実際には存在しないんじゃないかと噂する者さえいる。
少しは
Interesting.
悪いたが、誰もがペインの名を口。
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No one really knows much about him, but then they love him.
ペイン様は神と同じだ。いるいないの問題じゃない。俺たちをいつも見守ってくださっている。
Just like a god.
祭礼行事や演説、命令などは全て代理者を使われるんだ。天使様をな。
天使様。お前たちの長だ。なぜ仲間にも姿を隠す必要がある。
こういう時のためさ。
なるほど。
お前、旧雨隠れの残党じゃ。
Old hit and ran, yeah.
一体何者だ。
わしのことはどうでもいい。それより旧雨隠れの残党とはどういうことだ。
本当に何も知らねえみたいだな。
Nope.
よそ者か。
No shit, dude.
ちょっと前までは本当の奴らが断るごとに潜入してきたからな。まあ今はその心配もない。紛れ込むとすればお前のように外から運よく忍び込めた輩くらいだ。
心配ない。どういうことだ。この国は内戦中だと聞いているがの。
無理もないな。この国は閉鎖的だ。教えてやろう。すでに内戦は収まった。我々の勝利だ。
Just how long ago, though?
ペイン様は伝説になってる。雨隠れを潰したたった一人でな。
Damn.
信じられん。いかにペインとやらが強いと言っても雨隠れの長は三将魚の半蔵と
Yeah, and he was really strong.
知らぬ者などいない男だぞ。
そうだ。半蔵はその実力もさることながらとても用心深く、そのそばに近づくことすら困難を極めた。24時間交代で身辺に護衛をつけ、近づく者には子供であっても身体検査を行う徹底ぶりだった。
Cautious
半
man.
蔵をどうやってやった。ペインの能力は何だ。
だから言ったろ。俺たちは何も知らねえよ。
Yeah, he's just thinking of this time.
まで追い詰められるとはな。もっと強くなってからかかってこい。命の代償にそれぞれ名を名乗れ。ジライ
綱で
アオロチマル。
Orochimaru.
ジライヤ、綱でオロチマル。この半蔵、これよりお前たちをこの葉の三人と呼びたたえよう。信じられん。あの半蔵。
Yeah, all by himself.
神のやることだからな。恐ろしい術を使うのさ。だがペイン様の恐ろしさはその術じゃない。本当に恐ろしいのはその容赦ない強い刃の心。 己の理想を脅かす不安分子は徹底的に潰した。
Yeah, so he's kind of like a dictator almost.
その両親と妻子を殺め、
Bro.
いやともその赤子にさえ手をかけた。
Jesus Christ.
住処を焼き払い、つながりのあった里の依頼主たちまで全て殺し、全てを無にした。
It's fucking savage.
まさに神のようじゃないか。
Damn, dude, I love the way the Rain Village looks and stuff. It's so cool.
神
The atmosphere here is got a dark tone, man.
ならそのお前たちの神がしようとしていることは何だ。いくらお前たちが下っ端でも知っていることはあるだろう。
神のなさることだ。俺らには
そうか。なら神ではなく暁についてなら少しは知っとることがあるかのう。
知らねえな。そんな
Oh, he's lying. He looked to the side.
腕と足動けぬよう拘束しとるんだがの。実はそれだけじゃない。脈拍を測っている。嘘をつけばそれで知っていることは洗いざらい吐け。でなけりゃお前も一生トンボやハエをやるぞ。
Terrifying. What the? Oh, there's quite a few Akatsuki there.
さて侵入者を狩るか。
Is that? That looks like Datara's hair a little bit. Okay, so can he... I mean, obviously we'll probably find out soon, but can he, like, change consciousness through bodies? Like, through those machines? That could make sense to why I think that... Okay. I'm going back to the name. So, Nagato was the boy who had the Rinnegan, right? And then Yahiko was the one who I think looks like the current form of Pain, because he's got like the red, or I mean not reddish spiky hair, orangish hair, but you know Nagato actually has those eyes. So dude, really cool, man. I love the Rain Village. It's so interesting feeling. I feel like, you know, I've talked about this before. I love Rain. This would be the spot for me. Also pretty crazy about Hanzo. Like, I was wondering if we were going to hear more about him, but I think it's cool that we got a little bit more with him in like the conflict with Pain, and sounds like he got brutally destroyed, which is cool too, because like I like that the author kind of compared, or you know, they set up that Hanzo was as strong, I mean stronger it seems, than Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade fighting together against him. And granted, they were a bit younger then, but still obviously really strong. So Hanzo had to be stronger than the three of them. So like, Pain strength is crazy.
この国の内情を知らねえよそ者に話して聞かせることはねえ。
You've said a lot already, bro. Probably should have made that declaration early on.
まあの、だいたい尋問はわしの性にも合わんしの。話はここまでだ。だが当分はここにいてもらうぞ。あとは神とやらに直接聞くとするかの。
Bro, I'm nervous. Really nervous for Jiraiya, man. I'm just can't stop thinking about his conversation with Tsunade before he left.
足を呼び出したどういう了見じゃ。ナルトの鍵はもう。
いやいや、修行じゃねえの。わけあってお前に一時出ておいてもらおうと思っての。
出ておくじゃと？一体何事じゃ。
ちょいと強いやつとやり合うもんでの。
Damn, he knows.
にはならんほどのやからなんか。
いや、念のためだ。それよりさっさと蔵出しの藩を押したいんだがの。
What the?
戻るまでどれくらいかかるんならいや。
そうはかからないと思うがの。ただわしに何かあった時はナルトに蔵入りしろ。
何を言うなら、わしの腹にはナルトの八家封印に結合する鍵が書き写されとるんじゃぞ。年々4代目の封印も弱まってきとる。いざという時それを締め直すために鍵が残されたんじゃ。その
What?
鍵を金と一緒に置くなどありえんじゃろ。
とはいえその鍵は港の
Dude, this is freaking crazy.
ナルトに渡すべきだの。
まだ早い。前に一度前にそそのかされて鍵で師匠封印を少し回しただけでどうなったか忘れたわけじゃなかろうが。
Oh, this is how he got hurt.
ああ、 しかしその鍵の術式を湊がわしに預けたってことは、いずれはあの術をナルトに完成させるのがあやつの意志だとわしは思う。
この術って。
Dude, things are just ramping up, bro. This is crazy.
ナルトに必要なんか。別にキュービのチャクラをコントロールすることなどできりゃせん。それどころか鍵を少し開けたせいでナルトのチャクラを押しのけ、キュービのチャクラ自体が多量に漏れ出し、それ以上封印を開きナルトが完全にキュービ化してしまうたら、それこそ4代目の意志に反するぞ。
湊はキュービの陰のチャクラしか式封陣をしておらん。
Nine Tails the Yin chakra?
キュービの力を陰と陽に二分し、陽の側をナルトに封印したのはキュービのチャクラをナルトに残すためだ。
Huh.
からって。
I feel like that's pretty important. So where's the other part of it, though?
キュービのチャクラを封印した。
さあ知らんぜよ。たまたま封印の都合でそうなったか。
I've kind of always just thought that, like, it was, like, convenient at the time to put it into Naruto or something.
あやつは無意味なことはしないやつ。
Yeah, but okay. There's obviously more to it.
大な事実を知っていて、その事実のためにキュービの力を我が子に託したのだとしたら、
んなことは考えすぎじゃろ。
本当にそうかの。かつてこの葉を襲ったキュービの陽子は自然発生した天才だと言われていたがの、実はそうではなかったんじゃないかと。
Like someone sent it there.
疑うようになった。おそらくあれは人為的に口寄せされたものに違いない。
アホ。キュービは昔から人の邪気がたまりよどんだ時、どこからともなく現れる天才じゃ。それにキュービを口寄せできるやつ。
I love this lore, man.
いや、それがいたんだの、一人。
誰じゃ。
内派一族の創始者、内派マダラだ。
Founder, bro. Damn.
内派マダラはこの葉創設期の人間じゃ。ほんの15、6年前に生きとるはずがねえだろうが。
確かに内派マダラがあの終末の谷で初代火影に倒されたのは誰でも知っとる。
なら
Oh. The first Hokage defeat? That's insane, bro.
何か嫌な予感が。
Okay. This is where we got Uchiha, the Madara Uchiha. And he's right there. Bro, this is crazy.
お前は先に木の葉に戻ってろの。帰ったらいびきのところへ行ってくれ。話は通してある。
He's like, yeah. Send him to the real torture.
さて、うまく騙せるといいがの。よし。
Man. They're on to him. No.
どう
It's an interesting ability.
ジライアよ。
そう
Yo.
ジライア先生か。懐かしい。
どうするペイン。
どうせ俺たちの味方ではないんだろ。
多分。
ならばやる。今さら未練もないだろ
Jeez, man. Savage.
う。案内し。
わかった。ペイン、あなたが駆けつけるまで私が相手しておくわ。
殺せるならやってしまえ。
I'm getting so freaking nervous. Damn, Jiraiya. I thought that was just a transformation jutsu.
影操りの術か。
エインというやつをおびき出そうと餌をまいたが、まさか食いついたのがお前だったとはの。術のキレも良くなったが。
He recognizes her.
コナン。
Quite a catch, Conan. Oh man, this makes me so sad that it's like his
まさか
subordinates.
ペラペラの紙になっちまった。
あなたは使いの天使様。
今度は天使か。ということはコナン、お前が神とやらの伝令役かの。
この男は侵入者です。今すぐこいつを。
少し離れている。
はい。
ペインとは何者だ。
先生には関係のないことよ。
Here comes the angel. It was so weird.
そんな姿を気取ってご利益はあったのか。
神からの命令よ。あなたを殺す。
From our god.
ガマ油断。 油でくっついてばらけまい。折り紙が好きなお前はあの子たちの中でも鳥はちい子だったの。
Kind of looks like she's a little dead inside, honestly.
長門と弥彦はどうした？死んだという噂は嘘なんだろう。やはりのペインとはあいつらのうちのどちらかじゃの。
Kind of, maybe?
私たちの前に現れて何のつもりだ。
そんなつもりはなかった。お前たちが暁でなければの死んだと聞いていた。それがまさかこんなことになっとるとはの。
あの時オロチマルの言う通りにしておけばそう思っているのね。
殺すこの子たち。随分清楚
Damn, she remembers.
むごいものよ。いっそのことここで殺してやるのはこの子たちにとっても。
けどあなたは私たちを助けた。もう遅いわ。
Part of the prophecy, man. Part of the destiny.
動き出した。
お前たちを殺しておけばよかったなんぞ。そんなことは思っとりゃせん。悲しいだけじゃ。わしはお前たちに乱世を生き抜く術を教えた。間違いなくお前たちはわしの弟子だ。いかに世知辛い世の中とはいえ、挨拶もそこそこにわしに向かってくるとは悲しすぎるの。
I feel sad for Jiraiya.
私の名をちらほら聞くようになった。いくつかの紛争で名を売ったが、その後死んだと聞いた。
先生はあれからの私たちを知らない。
Yeah, I want to know.
だからといって暁なのか。暁のやってることは間違っとる。
それが自分で考えた結論ですよ。
Here we go.
外見はだいぶ変わったが、その目、あの形状、あの波紋模様、信じられん。あの目、リンネガン。やはりお前がペインだったか。長門、正しい成長はしてないようだの。何があった？
あなたは知らなくていい。所詮外の人間だ。
No, I do need to know, even if I'm an outsider, please.
口寄せの術。
泡か。教え子だけあって、わしの弱点
Foam? Foam's his weakness?
だの。
Like... Bruh.
は下がっている。
断獅子神の術。
Damn, dude, his freaking hair is crazy.
長門、お前にいくつか聞きたいことがある。弥彦はどうした？
ああ、いたな、そんなやつも。とっくに死んだよ、そんなやつは。
お前。
僕はただ二人を守りたい。
Yeah.
痛みが伴うことがあったとしても。
No, he's pain, man.
一体何があった？昔のお前は。
何も、ただ戦いだけだ。
Just war.
俺は人が死にすぎる。それらの痛みが俺を成長。
Yeah, so he is Nagato. He can just change bodies for some reason.
痛みを知ることで人へと成長する。言うことも考えることも人のそれになる。
だからといって友への思いを捨てるのが大人になることかの。
先生、あなたはまだ人でしかない。
I'm a god.
に続く痛みの中で人からさらに成長したのだ。
なんだと？
そう、人から神へとな。
Thinks he's above man.
言うことも考えることも神のそれになる。あなたはまだ人のまま。俺の言うことがわからないのは仕方がない。
そこまでずれとると。
It's a weird philosophy, yeah. It's twisted.
ものが神となった今は見える。そして神だからこそ人にはできないことができることに気づく。簡単に言えば人からの進化だ。
お前は一体何をする気だ？
この戦いだらけのくだらない世の中に終止符を打つ。それが神の御業だ。
それが目的ならなぜ美獣を集める？
あんたはどうせ死ぬ。だから本当の目的を教えてやろう。封印した美獣を使い、新しい金
Oh no.
その術を一つ使用しただけで一瞬で大国さえも潰せる最大最強の近日兵器をな。
Freaking nuke. Jesus.
ますます争いが大きくなるだけであろうがの。
国々
He wants to control people with it.
それを手っ取り早く終わらせるにはどうしたらいい？ジライア先生。
だから聞いておろうが、わしの質問に答えろ。
争う国々に近日兵器を渡せばいいんだ。兵器を持てば争う国々は必ずその力。
Dude, this is literally like like global politics that we have today.
人間が
It's literally an atomic bomb and like you just hold each other accountable by having atomic bombs. But what about all the nations that don't get them?
民を知るのだ。その恐怖心が抑止力を生み、争いはなくなる。この世界は今まだ安定に向け成長している途中だと言える。痛みは世界を成長させる。かつての俺がそうだったのと同じように
Pain maturing.
考え歩き出すようになるには神の手助けがいる。世界はまだ子供なのだ。世界の成長のために痛みを教えてやる。それがお前の役目ということか。そうだ。
Yeah, it's a pretty cynical view, man.
冗談を言うようになったの長門。
冗談なんかじゃありませんよ。俺の理想はこっちだ先生。
それがお前の口寄せか。
あんたは俺からすれば成長しきれていない小さな存在だ。
口術
Alright, dude.
扱いされるとはの。そうも
Kid dream like kid.
人ではないわい。怒りにあふれた血の涙。三人語りで千人に妙木山のガマ妖怪。
Oh no.
やはり成長しきれていない。昔と同じでドジだ。
こらガマケンさんよ、見え切るところで揺らすなっての。
Dang.
不器用なもんで
They're perfect for each other. Oh, dude, I thought there was gonna be more. Oh, man. Guys, this is crazy. What a cool character, Pain. I guess the whole Nagato and Yahiko thing is a little bit simpler. It seems like Nagato killed him, maybe? But the whole, like, transferring of bodies maybe adds some complication to it, potentially. But, Pain's philosophy is interesting, though. It definitely, honestly, it resembles a lot of or parallels the real world a lot. Like, I forgot what they call that, but, like, you know, it kind of, like, people having, or two nations having an atomic bomb, like, you think about, like, Russia and the US, right? Like, there's a constant, like, testing of how far they can push for what's acceptable for the other nation before they will threaten to use a bomb, right? But then both of them mutually know that it's not worth them getting to that point because it's going to cause so much death and destruction. So it's counterintuitive to, you know, push too far past the limit of the other nation. You kind of have to stay within the boundaries of them, or else you both will lose out, kind of thing. So it's an interesting philosophy, honestly. It's something that I think the real world is in right now. I really like this. It's realistic, but it's also like, I don't know, there's a lot of question of like the morality of it, right? Of like, yeah, like Pain thinks he's a god. He thinks he's matured because of Pain, and to, you know, go past his humanity to become a god. But I feel like most people, you know, yeah, Pain will make you mature, but it also kills a little part of you too, you know what I mean? Like, kills your humanity. It's not necessarily always a positive thing like that. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get in the review section here. Man, once again, some real juicy episodes. Lots of really good lore, some questions answered, and just seeing a lot of the Rain Village and a lot more Pain and Conan as well. Off the bat, I kind of just want to say that, you know, in general, I've been, you know, y'all have heard me talk about how I really like the Rain Village's design and stuff, but even just like kind of infiltrating this village, I mean, it's more like a city to be honest, but like, I don't know, I love the vibe of it all. I love the atmosphere. The rain itself, of course, is a huge part of that element, but just like the tone itself too, right? Like, it's dark and mysterious, and there's lots of like, I don't know, like dark undertones to it. You know, of course, like as the audience, or, you know, being part of the Leaf Village's side, we obviously know that this is not necessarily a good place, especially knowing the backstory of all these kids with Jiraiya and whatnot. But still, the people there seem to be very happy with Pain's ruling, right? Even though a lot of them know that like Pain can listen into them or track their movements with the rain, they're all grateful to him and see him as a god, like Pain presents himself. they're all grateful to him that he ended kind of the conflict in this nation that was happening, I guess, frequently. Let's start with talking about that rain power a little bit, because that was something that kind of came on, was shown very quickly. When Jiraiya instantly when Jiraiya infiltrates, Pain can pick up on that somebody's there and that they have a very powerful chakra, right? So seems like not only can he kind of like pick out people, but he can tell how strong they are as well. Pretty interesting. And there were some other small things we got to, like the two genin that we're talking that Jiraiya interrogates. They talk a little bit about how it usually only rains on Sundays, and they're kind of like discussing a little bit. Obviously we don't get a full answer here, but one of them's like, well, maybe Pain's about to leave the village and he need to go to another nation, and he really needs that much power. So maybe the rain isn't just a way to have surveillance on people, but also maybe build up some level of chakra, or there might be something more to it. And I even noticed towards the end of the second episode when Pain's talking about the new forbidden jutsu he's planning on using with the tailed beast. It flashes to the Leaf Village, and I think it's in present time. It also flashes to the Sand Village as well, but it's raining in the Leaf Village, and we know that Pain's mission here from Madara Uchiha is to go after Naruto. So maybe he can use the rain elsewhere. I don't know what bounds he can control it in, or what it's all exactly for, but bare minimum it's for surveillance. And yeah, this the rain and everything, and just the way that he kind of oversees his populace, it definitely is very like dictator like qualities. And we get this too with the Genin kind of talking about how Pain took control, right? He defeated Hanzo the Salamander, and Hanzo the Salamander obviously really powerful from what we've gotten, kind of like to compare strengths with him naming the three Sannin and pretty much defeating them but letting them live. So we know he's really strong, he's infamous, he's well known. He took, Hanzo was not a pushover by any means, but Pain supposedly defeated the old regiment of the Rain Village, and Hanzo included in that, single-handedly supposedly. Now I don't know if Madara Uchiha had something to do with that as well, like if that was planned, or maybe if Madara came to him after the fact. But either way, man, really impressive. And what instills that dictator-like quality even more is what he does afterwards. He kills off like all of Hanzo's tribe, right? He kills off his children, the rest of his family, his friends' families, his friends, like really cutthroat. It's like a complete political takeover through violence. And yeah, dude, it's pretty savage. And he's definitely obviously has a godlike complex here. The whole Pain teaching him and kind of transcending his manhood, right? Like he thinks he's more mature than man is, more mature than a kid is. Pain will teach a kid to grow, to control his emotions and his thoughts, and that kind of helps probably like toughen someone up and make them a man. But then Pain can take it a step further where you can become a god and like your word is absolute. Really, really interesting. In addition to that, kind of what like feeds into this like god, kind of godlike qualities, is that the village people have no idea what Pain looks like. He's kind of like an infamous figure almost. And I think part of that, I'm sure people have actually probably seen him before, but part of it must be this way he can change bodies. We have those 6 Akatsuki bodies, and that, those machines or whatever, and Pain can switch from at least to one body. I'm assuming he can kind of do this at will, and if he wants to, but I'm sure that kind of helps keep his identity, kind of in a, on the down low. I don't know, man. I'm really interested about that, and I think that the body we've been seeing, if I had to guess, is Yahiko's. Like I know that we pretty much confirmed that he's dead at this point. We don't know if Pain killed him. Kind of implies that a little bit. At least implies that he doesn't really care and he's like a long lost memory. But I have a feeling that the main body of Pain is Yahiko's, which is pretty tragic, man. It's really sad. I'm sure we'll get more context there and maybe a flashback at some point. But Dude, crazy stuff there. And one more thing on the bodies too, like he says that he specifically picks this body to kill the intruder. And I think at that point he doesn't know it's Jiraiya, but maybe there's something specific about the bodies that he uses that enhances his powers, right? I mean, we obviously have learned a lot about, you know, people kind of taking, you know, ninjas' bodies and like, you know, discovering their secrets using their jutsu techniques and stuff. So maybe Yahiko's has a specific kind of power, and then maybe this new one he's in has a different kind of power within it. Yeah, it seems like he's probably gonna have a lot of different jutsu techniques at his disposal because he probably can use different bodies. That's at least what I'm theorizing here. And we do get confirmation basically that he is Nagato. You know, I was a little interested on that, obviously, with like kind of my theories in the last set of episodes when they were kids and whatnot, and knowing that Pain looked a bit different than Nagato back then. But it does definitely seem like it's Nagato. It's that's the person who is Pain. It's just like he's in different bodies and whatnot. But yeah, it's really sad, kind of the interaction between Jiraiya, Conan, and Pain or Nagato, because like, you know, Jiraiya's kind of challenging him on certain things, and when he brings up Yahiko and, you know, his indifference towards it, you can see that you can hear the pain in Jiraiya's voice, and that kind of flashes back to Nagato saying that he just wants to be able, he'll endure any pain to protect those two. So he's endured pain for a long time, obviously, but now it's changed him. It's changed who he is, and that's kind of, you know, we'll kind of probably get into that a little bit more later, talking just about what pain does to people and whatnot. But yeah, it's obviously a huge part of his character now, is that he's extremely different than what he was like then, with what he cared about at that time versus now. Let's talk a little bit about the forbidden jutsu, because that's, you know, essentially kind of, you know, finalizing or, you know, consolidating what exactly Akatsuki's goal is, because, you know, that's, we've gotten some description of it when Pain was describing it to some of the Akatsuki members, you know, like an arc back or so, and, you know, it was about kind of getting a monopoly on war. And in this case, you know, the ambition's a little bit, it's not necessarily about just having a monopoly on war. It kind of is to a degree, but it's a lot about like controlling people by creating such a powerful weapon that it teaches all of the nations what pain is, kind of what Pain has been taught, or the Rain Villages have been taught. Like, it's not worth it to be in war constantly because of just how much it destroys your people, your populace. And this forbidden jutsu is supposed to, you know, it's supposed to be able to wipe people away just like that. You know, I mentioned it in the reaction, it's just like an atomic bomb to me. It's so similar. You know, it's kind of like the whole thing is like, if two people have, you know, really powerful weapons, it doesn't really serve them to go to war as easily. You know, it's kind of like deterrence, right? If both parties have like a forbidden jutsu technique like that, they'll be a lot more hesitant to really push the boundaries of each other and start conflicts. So, you know, there might be more conflict resolution through compromise, right? Just through talking and diplomacy versus violence itself. Now, I think that's a little bit of a pipe dream, honestly, and I think all of you know that there's still war today, even though there's plenty of nations that have atomic bombs. You know, sure, maybe conflict doesn't explode quite as much, but, you know, it's such a dangerous game to play, teetering on the line between like the extinction of humanity, or, you know, the death of millions or, you know, millions of people just for maybe potentially a little less violence. I mean, maybe not a little less, could be quite a bit, but at least, like, I feel like in the world we live in today, you know, nuclear war is always like a very scary threat. You know, just one person, you know, makes a stupid decision and we're all screwed, right? It starts a global conflict and like everyone's gonna launch their nukes. So yeah, it's like, but it definitely really reminds me of that, and I really enjoy that. You know, kind of parallels real life a little bit. Now, I think obviously people didn't really develop atomic bombs to for the grand goal of trying to teach the world pain and to kind of quell conflict a little bit, but still that parallel is really there. And I don't know, it's really interesting that like our antagonist here kind of has this grand goal, and it's somewhat, you know, from depending on your perspective, morally grounded. So Pain is kind of a little bit of a grayish character right now to me. Obviously, I think he's more evil than good. I don't think he's got the right perspective on conflict and violence and pain itself. But still, it's I don't know. It's a very complex kind of character we have here, and I'm enjoying learning more about him so far. And I don't know, dude, just his character design too is so freaking dope. The rain and all of that, his eyes, his hair, all the piercings, just his voice, it's just all very, like, it's got a huge aura to him, you know. Let's also talk a little bit about the conversation around pain in itself, right? Like how Nagato, you know, kind of his perspective on pain, you know, kind of making him transcend his humanity, almost making him into a god. And you know, him describing how pain, you know, teaches somebody a lot of lessons. It teaches them how to control their thoughts and emotions. You know, it's a very powerful teacher. And I think in that perspective, I tend to agree. Like, I think, you know, obviously humans learn a lot from pain from the moment you're a baby into your adulthood, into when you're an elder, right? Like, pain reinforces certain kinds of, you know, stimulus for your brain to be like, oh, nope, don't do that, right? Like, you know, there's the whole example of a kid when they first touch a hot stove, you know, they have to learn that through the pain, right? They got to learn that, hey, that's dangerous, right? And it kind of teaches you what is dangerous and what not. But Pain's opinion of it is like, it goes so much further or deeper than that. It's like, pain kind of makes you overcome maybe like your attachments to the world or something, or your attachments as a man to the world. You become more absolute in your beliefs, or they're not even beliefs. I guess it's probably fact to him, right? I don't know. I hope we get a little bit more, it fleshed out a little bit more, kind of what his opinion of pain is. I mean, obviously his name is Pain. Pain is a crucial part of his story. So I hope we get more of it, but it is really interesting to me because I feel like pain obviously has a place, but pain can also leave scars, right? It can leave trauma, and it changes people's perception of themselves in the world that aren't necessarily grounded in reality. You know, somebody who has experienced a lot of pain outside of kind of those small instances, like we just said, kind of like touching a hot stove, or someone saying something mean to you or whatnot, like, and even that, like someone saying something, or like bullying you, or you know, demeaning you, you know, kind of shrinking you, that stuff sticks with people a lot, right? It changes their perception of themselves especially, but it also changes their perception of the world. You know, it can make people cynical, or you know, just kind of, like we see, kind of diminish their humanity. And that's the thing. Pain kind of seems to have this whole philosophy that it helps you transcend your humanity, but I think it more so mitigates your humanity. It kind of shrinks your being if you experience too much pain and you don't heal from it. If those wounds are left open, and you can't get down in there and actually heal those emotional or physical wounds, you know, whether it's emotional wounding, I think that's what I'm mostly talking about here, but also physical wounds too. You know, talk to anyone who's struggled with chronic pain, that psychologically changes your life, you know, who you are and your relationship with the world and people. So I don't know, I'm wondering if it's kind of going to be somewhat of a theme in this around Pain's character, or Nagato's character, but really interesting to think about so far. All right, there's a couple more things I wanted to talk about, but I think we'll just talk about them in the character ratings because one of them is kind of specific to it. So for MVP, I'm going to give that to Pain, and just his power, his aura. I just love the rain vibes around his powers. I'm really interested in that, and you know, him switching bodies, just his demeanor in general is super cool. For the best moment, I'm going to give it to Jiraiya around the Naruto and Nine-Tail lore. I think that was probably the most interesting part to me, even, you know, outside of Pain and Jiraiya in general and infiltrating. I really liked that conversation. Now, it's once again Jiraiya kind of handing off this key, right? This sealed key to, I guess, relock the Nine-Tail in Naruto with the 8 seal or whatever. You know, once again, this is kind of pointing to the fact that Jiraiya might not survive this conflict. So not great there. I'm not gonna lie. That I'm like preparing myself for some sadness, man. But I really love all like the information we get around this, because it really helps kind of put into context why Naruto has had this nine-tail sealed in him. So we kind of get some information that, you know, the nine-tail seal weakens every year. And I think we've kind of had some description of that at some point. I don't remember if that was in classic Naruto and Shippuden, but, you know, there was a whole, you know, theory being thrown about by certain characters that, yeah, maybe the seal is kind of starting to weaken, and they were kind of like scared of that threat. But I guess, you know, this key can help like reseal it in those cases. I'm assuming you could just open it too, which is why we kind of get that flashback to the last time that Naruto, or that Jiraiya tried to, I guess, unseal it to a degree, and that's when Jiraiya got slashed by the nine-tail cloak that Naruto had been consumed by. But Jiraiya has this whole theory, I guess, that Minato did this on purpose, right? And it is interesting, you know, it's something I didn't really talk too much about when we learned that Minato was Naruto's father. Was like, okay, well, why did he end up putting the nine-tailed spirit inside of Naruto? Like, made him a Jinchuriki, right? Like, it is something that we've learned a lot about, and just how much it impacts people. Like, why would he want to do that to his own kid? But, you know, this frog that Jiraiya's talking to thinks it's just all coincidence, or maybe it was just convenient at the time, which is kind of like what I was thinking, was like maybe, you know, putting it into a baby was like the easiest thing to do, or maybe it would like help the seal last the longest. But when you learn it's his son, you know, it does make it seem like there's something more strategic about it. And Jiraiya kind of backs it up by saying that, you know, Minato was somebody who was very like strategic, right? Like, he always had a good reason for doing something, so he wouldn't just put the nine-tail in Naruto for no reason. And we specifically get to that he only sealed part of the chakra within Naruto. He sealed the yang chakra. He split the yin and yang of the nine-tails chakra. Now, I don't quite understand what that means for the other half of the chakra. Is it just floating out somewhere and the nine-tail is like disconnected from that? Or, you know, maybe it's something, I don't know what else it could be, but the yang chakra specifically is within Naruto. And like, Jiraiya references that Minato must have, you know, was planning that Naruto would someday master that jutsu technique, whatever jutsu technique, by using the nine-tails chakra. It seems like it's probably a jutsu technique that requires so much chakra that you need the nine-tails chakra alongside of it. So Naruto needs to learn to harness and control the nine-tail, and Minato seems to believe that Naruto will be able to do that someday. Man, I really want to know what that jutsu technique is. I hope we get to see it someday. I bet it's insane. But it definitely like kind of sets a different kind of path for Naruto. Like, I mean, it's something like that as an audience you can kind of forecast a little bit. It's like, yeah, you know, he's got this great power within him. He's got to learn to control it, and it'll be so much more powerful. But in this case, there's kind of like some preemptive goal in mind from who passed this down to Naruto. So it's really cool to like theorize what that jutsu technique might be. Yeah, what else did we get there? Oh yeah, the whole like part of it, the nine-tail not being a natural phenomenon too, because that's kind of like, you know, something we got a while ago too, was that the nine-tail would show up when like evil was, you know, it was like a bad omen kind of, right? Like humanity was, you know, has too much evil around or something, just pops up to kind of like reset humanity or something, right? Kind of like maybe Noah's Ark or whatever, like a flood coming to wipe the sin away from humanity. But Jiraiya also thinks that that was something done intentionally by one person who could possibly control the nine-tails chakra, and that's Madara Uchiha. And the frog's also like, well, you know, Madara Uchiha wouldn't have been alive 15, 16 years ago. He was around in the era when the Leaf Village was first founded. I guess he was the founder of the Uchiha clan itself. And, you know, we get this lore that Madara Uchiha was defeated by the first Hokage and the final valley. That's what those two statues were. I can't remember if I knew that one of the statues was the first Hokage or not, but I definitely always wondered what the other one was. And really cool kind of getting a callback to that crazy place. And it's kind of interesting thinking about how that parallels to Sasuke and Naruto's fight there. Like, what's that destiny that is, yeah, that had them fight in that exact location? maybe determining something, that has to do with that fight way back then, or some continuation of that, considering that Madara Uchiha is still alive. Kind of nuts to think about, man. But dude, the first Hokage must have been him if he could beat Madara Uchiha, who could summon the Nine Tail, and just like the original Uchiha, Sharingan, all that, man. Like, he must have been crazy. For the funniest character, I'm gonna give that to Jiraiya. Lots of funny parts in this. Man, he did a great job playing all the Rain Village like folk. There were some funny moments in the air, also with the Genin, like, entrapping them in the frog. But I really like the part where he's talking to Conan about, he's like, I thought you died, but instead you turned into a flimsy piece of paper or a flimsy sheet of paper. That one got me real good. And for the Sako, we'll give that to the one Rain Genin shinobi who spills the secrets about pain. It's what you get for going behind your wife's back and going out drinking instead of going home to her. Honestly, he wasn't too bad either, but if I had to give the Sako to someone, I'll give it to him. But yeah, y'all, I think that'll do for these episodes. Lots of really cool stuff going on here. Yeah, let me know what y'all thought about this in the comments below. Let me know, like, I don't know if y'all remember kind of what you were feeling at this time with infiltrating the Rain Village and pain and all of that. Like, it's just crazy times to be watching this show, dude. Like, this arc is already kind of starting to feel like, I don't know, like a pinnacle moment. Like, there's so much expanding in the Naruto universe with getting connections to, the Final Valley and Madara Uchiha and the Nine Tail and all this. Like, it's all starting to connect together, and that's it's so rewarding. There's so much payoff here for a lot of setup that the author has done. So props to the author for sure on this. But yeah, y'all, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon link below. We're 4 weeks ahead there. And yeah, I will catch you next time. Peace.